Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Ice Project. I am your host, Isaac. My friends call me Ice. First podcast of 2021. Roll the intro.
Welcome to the Ice Project. Welcome to the Ice
Shit, mate.
Project.
I love that sign in the back.
Yeah, it's so good, bro.
Hey Timmy, what's up?
What's doing?
Well, how are you?
Good to be back, bro. Good to be back.
First of all, just want to wish you a happy new year, or wish you nothing but health, happiness, and success for you and your business. Thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Cheers, bro. Appreciate it.
What was Melbourne lockdown like?
Melbourne lockdown was hard, eh? And I'm pretty mentally, mentally tough, and lived in a 3-story big house, had a big gym on the balcony and stuff like that because all the gyms and shit were closed. And I was killing it at the start. And I was like, fuck, this is grouse. I'm just training all the time, not working on the business. It's like the first time I'd ever had to sit still and work. But then it just kept getting longer and longer, and I actually started doing it really hard. And I was just thinking the whole time, I'm like, I got all this, I live in a nice house, got a missus, everything's rosy. Imagine being like a single mum in like an apartment with like 2 kids, doing it hard on the fucking rock and roll and that.
So how long are you guys in lockdown for?
Like from March to September,
that long?
Bro, long time. Well, we did stage 4 for like 15 weeks or something like that, and that's not allowed to go 5 kilometres from your house, masks mandatory everywhere, 1 hour exercise outside a day. There's like police patrols. People don't realise how bad it was, eh? There's like police patrols everywhere on foot, checking your licence. There's RBTs, but just to check where you live. Everywhere. It was it was hectic.
Oh, that is crazy. I think Sydney's such a selfish city that we don't really know what's going on down
I just don't think anyone realised, hey. It was just so hectic, but here's what it is, come out the other end.
All right, so let's dig a little deeper. Before you were Timmy Hanly, before you had all the Instagram followers, before you were on reality TV, who were you? Where'd you grow up? And just give us a bit of context on how you grew up.
I grew up in Port Douglas, up in North Queensland.
Beautiful part of the world.
Yeah, good spot. Went to 4 different high schools, in 5 years. I moved around
Why?
heaps. I don't know, just or might have got asked to leave. Not expelled. I did get expelled from one. But I just moved. I played footy, played AFL, and just moved around heaps of footy. Mossman or Port Douglas is a real small town. There's only one school there, and I moved to Cairns. Went to one school there. They asked me to leave, and then I went to the boarding school there. And then
is that where you met Chico?
Yeah, at Chico at St Augustine's, and I was there for 2.5 years, and then I moved down to Brisbane to play footy down there, and I went to finish the last 3 terms of grade 12 there, and played footy there for a couple of years, and then got in a little bit of trouble there, and then
What kind of trouble are we talking about?
well, actually, it's hectic. I was actually taking steroids when I was. I was actually taking steroids when I was playing footy down there, and it was like the highest level you could play at under 18s, and I got done by a SATA, and no one knows. And I thought that like when it happened, I thought that everyone was going to come out in the papers and all this shit that I was like a mad drug cheat and that. I was full at school taking steroids. It was pretty hectic because what happened was when I moved down there, the principal of the school was the president of the footy club. So 3 of us went to that. From North Queensland, went down to it's called a state league club.
Yeah.
Went down to play down there, and then they put you with a host family. And I changed in the 3 terms, I changed 3 different host families, and then they're like, I had a Barney with one of the families, and they're like, get the fuck out. And I rang my manager. I was like, I got kicked out of the house. I was the rattiest little kid.
You sound like trouble, bro.
I was. And then I was like, I got kicked out of the house, and he's like, mate, there's no more families. And I was like, no, it's all good. I'll find my own house. And I moved in with these blokes, and they're like 23 years old. And so picture me, 17, moving like these 23.
And you're still going to school and stuff as well?
Still going to school.
Like partying and that with the boys and stuff?
I never took drugs or anything like that until I was probably 22 later. But I wasn't really a big drinker, but I had a fake ID and used to go out to nightclubs and stuff, and meant to be going to school. It was pretty, I don't know, we just went downhill when I went down there, right? And then Yeah, I was still going to school, and then the boys I was living with, like 23 years old, so I was like sort of looking up to them. They were like real cool to me.
Yeah, 100.
And they're all on steroids, and I was just like, fuck. And they were just massive and just getting real strong in that. And I was playing footy, and I just didn't even think about it. It didn't cross my mind that it was just like it was illegal.
Yeah.
And I just didn't think I was playing high enough level to get like for it to be illegal. And I was just like, fuck. Just started taking these like.
How do you take steroids?
D-bowls or whatever. I was just taking them tablets.
Oh, tablets. Oh,
Yeah.
so you can take steroids as tablets.
Yeah, you can take steroids as tablets. I was just taking, and then we played in the state titles in the grand final, and I walked off the field, and this doctor comes up to me and goes, hey mate, how you going? Dr. fucking Steve from Masada or whatever. And I just shit myself. I was like, what? My dad flew down to watch the game and that. It was pretty hectic, man. And then Jacko, my best mate, he was playing in the same team. And then he knew I was on steroids too, and I was like, fuck, what are we going to do? And so he went and got a juice box and pissed in this juice box. And because they don't leave your side once they tell you we're going to test you, they don't leave your side till you leave. And then I put Jackson went and pissed in a juice box, and then he handed it to me behind my back, and I stuffed it in my jocks. And so I was sitting there filling out the forms, and I was thinking, I'll just piss Jackson's piss into the thing. And then I won't get done. And then I'm filling out the forms, and the guy goes, pants to the ankles, and we've got to watch it come out. And I was like, fuck. And now I've got this drama of having this box of piss in my jocks, so trying to get it out. It was hectic. And then, but yeah, then I got done. My dad flew down to have a meeting with him and that, and I was just like, nah. My dad's still on J. He's like, all right, just play dumb. Don't you he's just a fucking kid. You don't know. And then so we went in there. Dad's like, how the fuck's he meant to know? Like, just a kid. Because there was no education back then. If you go and play at a high level club now, you got a 2-hour ASADA chat, and they'll tell you about what protein you can take, what pre-workout you can take, what anything you like. They'll give you a big list for 2 hours. But you have to sign off before you even do anything. Then there was no education, so we could just played it off on that. Anyway, I thought everyone was going to find out, so I moved home to Port Douglas, lived there for a couple of years. Just worked as a lifeguard on the dive boats up there.
Is it Port Douglas? I was up there for like 4 or 5 days last year, over the New Year's. Fuck, it's quiet, bro.
Yeah, it's quiet. It's so
Get up to mischief up there, or
when I was younger, when I was living there,
just chasing tourists and shit around?
Yeah, just bored. Yeah, just staring. We used to go to the big hotel there when we were like 15. So I'd come home from boarding school on the weekend, and we'd all meet up because there'd be like 2 of us at boarding school, and we'd bring our boarders, like the full-time boarders, home with us on the weekend. I'd meet Jacko and all the boys, and then we'd get on our bikes and ride to the Sheridan Mirage Hotel.
Yeah, that's where I stayed. Yeah, it's nice,
and we'll go around there and we'll just get chased by the security guards and that. And then we started I'm not going to say this. Mate, criminal and that. I started stealing people's shoes and that.
Oh, bullshit.
People on holidays got all the nice runners and that, and we'd just go home with all the grouse shoes, and then we'd check the doors and see if they were open, and they would always, the rooms with no people in it, they would still leave the doors open. Yeah. And so we'd go in there and grab a pillowcase and then steal all the chocolates and that from the minibar, ride home like Santa Claus, these fucking pillowcases on packs.
Fuck you, little rat bag, eh, bro? Just bored, eh?
Yeah,
Nothing
just
to do
bored.
with it.
But I don't know. Live and learn, eh?
Yeah, so obviously there's a little period of like your 20s before you jumped on like the Bachelorette?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bachelorette. What did you get up to there? Were you working?
Obviously
I've got to know you through Chico, and we've partied a little bit, and I know you personally, but just want to explain what you've been up to over that little period.
I moved back to the Gold Coast after Port Douglas, moved back to the Gold Coast, and moved in with my parents there because they moved there to run a hotel, and then lived there for like 2 years, met my girlfriend who I'm with at the time, who I'm with now, and met her then. We moved to Melbourne together, and I've been in Melbourne probably 7 years, playing footy down there, working. I just work in construction now. I've been lost. Like, I haven't really ever found my way, hey, because I've sort of been like...
you always sort of landed on your feet with good jobs though, eh? Yeah, good paying jobs.
Always would find a good job, man. I always was like be on the rail or something grouse because I could talk my way into anything. From the best thing from like that my biggest strength was going to those 4 schools. Like by the time I went to that 4th school in 5 years, it was like I'm a master of like going into a new group because what's
the strategy?
I don't know.
Make them laugh?
Yeah, I think, and I always like, I think my strategy is to play a lot dumber than you are. You know what I mean?
Like that blonde girl tactic,
yeah, and just like, I don't know, just feel everyone out. But I've been in so many different groups, I can sort of blend in everywhere, hey.
All right, so let's talk about you're probably most well known for what you've done on reality TV.
Yeah.
How do you get on a show like that?
I was just at the races, and then with my mates, and this chick comes up to me and she's like, with a little clipboard and that, she's like, hey, would you consider TV? I'm like, what the fuck? And then I was like, nah, I'm all good. And then my mate's like, just give me a number. Gave him my number, and then I got a call like a week later from some people from Warner Brothers, and they're like, oh, you want you to go on some new show from the US and that? I didn't think it went to air, eh? And I was just like, I'm not being your test dummy. Like, fucking call me back when you got something good. And they called me back I forgot about it, and they called back like 2 months later, like, we still got your interviews from that other one, because they full interview you, and they're like, oh, so what's your love life like, and blah, blah, blah. And like, get me talking and I'll just chat, eh?
Yeah, fucking know.
Like, ask me and I'll just...
Sort of made for that situation, eh?
Yeah.
All the high schools you've been through, all the families you stayed with.
Yeah.
Perfect scenario, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. And then they said, would you go on The Bachelorette? And I was like, fucking, why not? And I went and did one interview, and then bang, I was on.
Do you have to... I remember Jordan Simi, he was going to jump on the show one time, and he had to wear like a T-shirt that you sleep in, and it radiates like the sweat that comes out. It can tell if you're on drugs and shit.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Fucking Jordan Simi telling stories again. Yeah, so you end up being on The Bachelorette. We talked about this on this last podcast when you and the boys were on, fresh out the house, and obviously we didn't get to air that. But what's that experience like?
Oh man, it was so hectic. I only had like, between The Bachelorette airing and going to Bachelor in Paradise, I only had a couple months, and I'd only saw the first few episodes of my Bachelorette, and then I was off to Fiji to film Bachelor in Paradise, so I never even saw my episodes. Like, I never even saw I watched my finale in Fiji on a laptop, and so I didn't really understand how many people were like so involved with the show till I got back from Fiji. And then everyone was just like, fuck, man, I couldn't go anywhere without someone like screaming or like...
Remember that night we went out of Melbourne?
Mate,
that was crazy, bro.
It's still pretty hectic, eh?
Yeah.
But like when I first got off, and it's a real shock because it's overnight, just bang. It's not like you don't slowly win into it. People go, oh yeah, you just go fucking just walk out of your house one day and they're just...
But people, I don't think people, like you're saying it, but I don't think people really understand. Like, I've knocked about footy players like my whole life, and people that have been like relatively famous, but that was different. So me and Normie were down in Melbourne, linked up Timmy because we knew him through Chico and stuff like that. And I think it was like the first night after you went out, and at the time you only had probably like maybe 5, 6, 10,000 followers max.
Yeah, right.
But when we went out, fuck, it was crazy, bro. And you're polite to everyone, taking photos, but I'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Chicks everywhere.
Yeah, I know. You just got to roll with it, eh? That's the one thing. First gives you a bit of anxiety, like people like getting in your space and you don't know them and they feel like they know you. Because reality TV, they follow your journey and they like, they sort of feel every emotion. They feel your highs and feel your lows, and they feel like they really know you. And so like they'll come up to you and people like, especially me, because I was like second and had the heartbreak, everyone was just like, everyone wanted to like say sorry to me and like feel like so sorry. Like
I feel like you want to come second on them shows, don't you?
Mate, second is the first.
Yeah, fucking hope it is. I know a few girls that are on The Bachelor, and I was like, you want to come second? They're all great. Yeah. So how much of that show is fake? How much of it is real? Do you start to fall in love with the girl, or what?
Yeah, it's definitely it is real. There's lots of editing and that goes into it, but I suppose it is real. Like nothing you don't say isn't.
Do they position you into certain scenarios?
Yeah, they position
with alcohol or
there's you're only allowed a certain amount of alcohol. It's like 2 drinks an hour or whatever. It's real.
It sucks, eh?
Yeah, it sucks.
Little Timmy on a 3-day, and
yeah.
Just go.
First, like I'll be on the rums. I'd get on the black rats every night, and then they started watering down my rums because I'd always like try and do the Swifty on the people delivering them.
Yeah,
like.
Is there some good sorts in the crew in that?
There's a couple.
Yeah,
a couple producers. Got cuties. What's it called? I'll just scull my rum, and then just put the glass on the ground and be like, oh fuck, when the waiter walks past, like, oh, I spilt my drink. Can you grab us a new one?
Yeah.
And they're on to me by the end of the day. I'll just be. Some nights I got so blind, and I wouldn't like. Just like, how did I get so drunk? I was being like that rose room, you give the rose. They take like 2 hours, those things. So they film them real slow.
Yeah.
And they like get every reaction from your face. So you could.
So
be like,
when there's a group of you and there's like 18 guys and you're standing there, you're there for 2 hours.
No, more than that when there's a full crew there.
Oh, bullshit.
Yeah, and it's late at night and you're just standing there, you're drunk, you're hot.
Yeah.
It's hectic. And because they just get every shot of you, like because you're standing there for so long, you're so hot, you roll your eyes so many times, like, fucking get me out of here. And you know how many faces that you pull in that 2 hours, they can clip it into any bit. Like someone gets a rose and they can just clip in you rolling your eyes, being like, Tim doesn't fucking like, you know what I mean?
That's pretty weird. What's it like being in a house with like 13, 14 blokes and chasing after one girl? It remind you of a footy trip?
But I just saw it as a big competition, eh?
Yeah.
And
you enjoyed that?
Yeah, loved it, eh? They all thought that I was like crazy. And because the first 2 nights of the Bachelorette, I went in there and everyone's like, this bloke's gone home first night, because I just went in and just tipped the joint upside down. They didn't show any of it because they had to show me being like all good and that, but I was just stirring everyone up, eh? And then they were like, he's mad, like he's gone home, and I just knew that I wasn't. And then just keeping all my cards close to my chest, eh?
Yeah.
And then I got my dates, and then I just wouldn't tell anyone about them when I'd come back, and I knew they were a banger. And then I'd just be like, oh, you went all right. I don't know if she liked me and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's pretty crazy. It's a weird scenario to be in, eh? And obviously it makes for really good TV because the popularity that comes off the back of it is fucking crazy, isn't it?
Oh, it's madness. I don't think I forget what I was going to say. I think our season was even more hectic, eh? It's definitely more hectic than any other season that's been. I think because we had Angie and she'd already been on TV. She's pretty likable character.
Are they still together?
Nah, they broke up.
Oh, yeah.
Nah.
Does any of them ever
And I'll
last?
get my flood out my DMs like, just take your shot. Like, relax. They break up and I'm like, my DMs are full the next day. Like, have your shot now. You can get them. Like, I don't want scraps.
Yeah.
I don't want your scraps.
Oh, so obviously you come off the back of the show. We'll touch on Bachelor in Paradise pretty soon. But how do you come out and you're labelled like a sort of an influencer? What does that next little period look like? Obviously you're flying around and doing things and wagga, random shit like that. What's that like? And like, how do you monetize it? Like, what does it look like from a business aspect?
Okay, so when I first got out, I was like, your DMs, you have more DMs than you can even fucking go through. You could scroll through them for hours.
What's the craziest shit you've seen in your DMs?
Oh, bro, when I first got out, my DMs are just full of just nudes, eh? They don't even say hello, just straight up naked. Boom.
Oh,
what's on?
What do you do? What do you just...
I don't know. Just like, you know how you can click and view image without it being accepted into the scene box?
Yeah.
Just do that once.
Any high profile people in there? Or?
Oh, yeah. You can put on your DMs, you can click latest request or you can click top request.
Yeah.
And top will show you like who's got the most followers. And I don't know who's... Yeah, there's some pretty...
You don't want to name them on here, eh?
Nah, you don't name them on here. There's some pretty big, like... I've become friends with some pretty cool people, hey, that I thought, like... And then they're like, oh, fuck, we watch your show. And I'm like, fuck, man.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Loose.
So, yeah, like sort of the business side of it as an influencer?
So, when I first got off, I saw DMs from all these companies going, oh, what do you charge? What are your rates? What do you do this? And I was just like, how does this even work? Like, what do you do? So, I started off with my model management that I modeled for ages ago. And I was like, oh, can you help me out? And like take a few of these requests and I put their thing in my DM. In my bio, I put the chick's name. And then I realised so much shit was going through to the keeper, so many offers and stuff like that, because she was just looking for shit that they can make money off.
Oh, okay.
So I was sort of losing heaps of stuff. And then I tried out like 10 different managers.
Yeah.
And then and then they all try and get you to sign these exclusive deals, and they take 20% of whatever it is. And then I was just like, why would I sign an exclusive deal when they just want me to give them all my leads?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the start, I had to use them because I didn't know what was worth, like how much a post was worth or anything like that. It's pretty crazy. When I first came out in my insights because I was getting 500,000 views on my post. Say,
What's that worth as a?
I was getting like $5,000 for a post.
That'd be handy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, $5,000 for a post, and I was getting like $3,500 per nightclub that I was going to, and I was doing like three nightclubs a weekend.
Yeah.
And I was just blowing all the money. Didn't save any of it.
Oh, none of it.
Nah, just blowing it all.
So what do you do at a nightclub appearance? Just rock up
Just
and talk
rock up
shit?
and just get drunk and take photos, eh?
Yeah,
pretty.
grouse.
It was pretty hectic. I was sort of you just sort of like got to take a minute and just be like, this is never going to happen again, and this is.
It's not a real world, is it?
It's not a real world, and that's why. The big part of it for me was like, I'm making all this money and shit, and then after a few months after I'd done all the appearances, and made a heap of money on Instagram and stuff like that, I was sort of like, your value starts going down, your insights start going down, and you're like, this isn't sustainable. I'm just on a reality TV. This is my 5 minutes. That's what I was like. I'm like, there's my 5 minutes, and then I was sort of like happy with it to go, but then I was like, what's my next move? And then I got asked to go on Paradise, and then I was like, how can I? When I got back from Paradise, between it airing and between it filming and it airing, I had a real good think about my next 5 minutes and how I was going to use it, and how because I thought I was a rock star when I first come off the first one, and I was just living like a rock star. I was spending all that money that I was getting, and I was fucking taking my mates out, and it was fun, it was grouse. But I was like, this is the most valuable 5 minutes that I might ever get. How can I make something of it? And
what was the point where you sort of realised that? Because not a lot of people would realise that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like it was when I just knew that it sort of dies off, and I was like, I got 5 minutes to get fucking everyone's attention on something. What do I want to do? And I had asked myself some questions, and I was like, so the number one thing I have to do when this next show comes out is be sober, because like that was my poison. I was just going out, taking drugs, drinking, blah blah blah. And
you're a good time when you're out, eh? Like obviously you're naturally charismatic, and we sort of hang around those types of people all the time, and it's a good time.
Yeah, it is fucking good
and
time.
You got everyone pumping your tires up. Fuck, that shit becomes addictive, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does become addictive. It does, and you're just hanging around with all these people that you don't even really know. You don't even really know, eh? You're just drinking with these people, and they're all going, fuck, you're reality TV, and you're like, oh, suck, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and you're just sucking it all up, and they're thinking you're a bit of a rock star. I just sort of had a look in the mirror and just gave myself a fucking reality check, and was just like, you are not a rock star. You're a fucking bum unless you make something of this. Like, you got 5 minutes. Like, this is a door that's open for you. It's up to you if you want to walk through it or how you want to walk through it. And I just like had to just knuckle down and just change everything about my life.
So when was the last time you had a drink? Or
probably 6 months, more than 6 months ago.
Feel good?
Yeah, I feel fucking great. But need a blowout.
Need a blowout soon?
Need a blowout because like
I wait to the hangover the next day. I've done like 2-3 months before and had a blowout. Fucking the hangover of doom, bro.
Yeah, I That's the one thing I realised. Hey, is like, so I know who I am. I know I've got a bit of mongrel in me, and I know that like I'll have one blowout, and then I'll go another 6 months. But okay. That's good. But I need to do it. It's just like if like Dennis Rodman, you know,
yeah,
he's just mad. But like I could never just stay
sober forever.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, blowouts are good, bro.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a good blowout.
Yeah, just to reset, eh?
I'm at that sort of point now where like I've rolled into a new year, and obviously, but like you, I've got big dreams and big ambitions and work ethic to back it up, and like getting on the piss is fun, but it's like I'd rather be doing this shit. I'd rather be talking to cool people. I'd be rather trying to inspire different people through my own sort of actions. So I think we're sort of in a similar phase right there. Yeah,
you got to pick your battles too, eh? And you got to make like it'll be so much better next time that I do have a blowout.
Yeah, because you're celebrating something.
I'm celebrating, you know what I mean? And I've worked for it. But when you're doing it every weekend with people you don't really like, and it just gets old. I'm just like, and the way I was looking at it is like, how much more can I do? Like, not many people have had full nightclub fucking lined up just to take photos with you. Like, pretty much clocked it here in Australia. If I want to go and get on it again, I want to be doing it in fucking New York or Vegas or something.
That's a good way. That's a good way to look at it, bro. Clocked it, yeah.
Upper level, you know what I mean? Like I go back to old shit, like chase chase it.
Yeah. All right. So frontrunner. Let's talk about your brand right now. Personally, obviously a fan. The aesthetics of it look cool. I love the color palette of it. It's got a sort of a nostalgic sort of feel about it. It's like you got a bit of an old soul in you. How did you start this? Where did it come about? How did you get the name? How was your first designs? Let's talk about the whole process.
You know, when I was talking about how I was going sober, one of my things at that time was running, and I was running fucking every day. I was trying to do this big running challenge, certain amount of kilometres in a week. Can't remember what it was, but I'm not a big runner, and I was running every day, and I was loving it, and I was just like feeling on top of the world. And it just came to me, hey, started off, I was like, I want to do something. I just had heaps of time in lockdown. It was the first time I wasn't working, wasn't really doing anything. It was between shows, so it was pretty quiet. And I was like, we went into lockdown, and I knew it was either lockdown is going to fucking kill me because I'll get too much time, and too much time for me has just brought me to like going to parties that I don't even really need to be going to, or taking drugs, drinking, doing dumb shit, because time, if you don't use it wisely or don't fucking like harness it.
Have you heard Matthew McConaughey say, like, when you're doing nothing, no good usually follows?
Yeah.
That's fucking spot on.
It is, man. It's 100%. And so I knew that I had to put my mind to something in that lockdown, and then luckily I did, because the lockdown went for so much longer than I thought it was going to. And bro, I just fucking I looked at my whole life and I thought, what have I didn't really know what passion was, to be honest.
Every time I've hung around you, you've always sort of like, obviously you got your own fucking fashion sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you've always sort of been kind of dressed up and a little bit ahead of the trend. Was that, it just would have been a natural progression, wouldn't it?
No, I've always liked clothes.
Yeah.
Generally, yeah, it's cool. And even asked my mates when I was younger, I was dressing differently to everyone back home, especially Port Douglas, or Jim Beam shirts and that. That Bundaberg, VB shirts and stuff. And yeah, I just always had my own style, and it's something and then I started like looking into designing it, and I was just loving it, And I've never ever learned. I was terrible at school, not a good reader. I'm not really good at retaining information.
Yeah.
From reading it or studying or whatever.
So you learn by doing.
Yeah, but definitely a kinesthetic learner.
Yeah.
But I was just soaking all this up like a sponge, because I was loving it.
It's fun, yeah.
I was loving it, and I was just studying, and yeah, lots of learning on the go. I've always been a big do and then learn.
Yeah,
like learn on the go.
So how do you find a manufacturer? How do you source a supplier? What was it like launching your first collection? Obviously, you sold out.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Sold out pretty quickly, because I was even now it's hard to look at my Instagram and be like, "Fuck, we're not getting those kind of eyes on it." But I knew that was my 5 minutes. If you look at our first few posts, we had like 50,000 people seeing it.
Yeah, crazy.
And like we can't even pay to get that much on it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like if you look at a YKTR, for example, like our engagement's gone down so much from when we first used to start it. It's quite high for the position that we're in, but it's just a natural progression of it, bro.
Yeah.
It usually always goes like that, and it tapers off somewhere.
Yeah, sometimes we have it goes up in that. But yeah, I was just jumped on Alibaba and I was just chipping away, and I ordered from about 10 different suppliers, spent fucking 10 grand on samples before I started. Swear, just pumping it out. I was starting it with my other mate. I was meant to do it with my mate, but he just goes, "Bro, you're just spending way too much money." And I was just like, "Bro, this is how I'm learning.
This is how you do it, bro.
This is how I'm learning. I can't do it any other way. I can't even go to the shops and feel, because the shops aren't open because we're in lockdown. I can't even go to the shops and be like, feel a fabric." So I had to order everything, and it was just costing me so much money. But that was how I was learning, and I was just talking to all different suppliers, and then I was sort of testing them and being like, and I got all my samples. I'd look at them and I'd be like, what can I learn off these? What questions can I ask off these? And I just went from there, and just there was a couple that were just stand out better than others for communication, and that was the main thing I was looking for. And I've just been with this one guy for the whole time.
It's been good
since day one, and he has just. I was speaking to him until like 2 o'clock in the morning, some mornings, and just asking him questions, sending him photos of me holding shit up, and then sometimes he'd be like, "Oh, do you want fleece or French Terrier, and I was just pretending like I know, and I don't even know.
What'd you say?
I'll be like, I had a French Terrier, and then I sent him a photo. He goes, "That's fleece," and I said, "Yeah, fleece."
But I like French Terrier. Everyone loves fleece though.
Yeah, I don't really like French Terrier. I made our jumpers in French Terrier, our hoodies in French Terrier last time. I was like,
Bit saggy, like it's got a bit more like sloppiness about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you can sort of wear them a bit more. Like when you're wearing fleece and it's like lined and stuff, it's just like so heavy. It's a cool block though. It sits well.
it's good in Melbourne.
Yeah, true.
We got a massive market in Melbourne, but trying to move it a bit more everywhere else up north and that.
What was the hardest part about starting a business for you?
Hardest part about starting a business. Definitely the back end and all the stuff that I learned off your course.
Because you're creative, aren't you?
Yeah, all the stuff I learned off your course was fucking unreal. Eh?
Yeah. You've probably been like probably the biggest fan and probably the best executor off the back of it. Like when you think about online courses, it reminds me of like PT. Like I can give you a program, but if you don't fucking do the program, no, it's not going to work. And I've had a couple success stories off the back of it, a couple 6-figure guys, obviously like yourself at the moment. But yeah, I don't know, it's been good.
Yeah, I learned heaps off today. I still go back to it and just look at it and just go through it and just.
You haven't even started the ads part too, eh? That's the scary part.
No, I started the ads.
Oh, did you? Are you doing it on your business though?
No, I'm with a full service agency.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, we just too much. We try to do it. There's lots. That's the other thing. I was looking at your course and I was like, "Fuck, you do a lot, eh?"
Yeah. Oh, you have to at the start, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do. And I don't know. I'm so lucky, man. I got my missus. She does all the back end, eh? Me and her fuck 50-50 in it.
Yep.
She's fucking. I wouldn't be able to do it without her.
What's the plans for Front Runner moving forward? Like, how do you see this brand growing?
We got a massive year ahead, I reckon. 2021 will be big for us now that we actually know what we're doing, have systems in place. It'd be good to get an office like this one day.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
So good. But yeah, that's the plan.
You guys 3PLing at the moment?
Not yet.
Fuck, that's the next step, isn't it?
Yeah, the next step's 3PL.
Once you move into 3PL, bro, it frees up so much more time. And then obviously off the back of it becomes planning and all that sort of stuff like that. And after a while, bro, it strictly becomes about numbers.
Yeah, the plan, my goal was to be living in Bali at the end of this year.
Yep.
And working from Bali because it's doable, 100% doable.
Yeah. I want to live in Bali too. Where would you live, Canggu?
Canggu for sure.
Bro, you can't go wrong over there, eh? Wake up, exercise, go for a swim, bro. Cheap food, grouse food.
It's so good, hey. I reckon haven't really been to many places, but I don't really have any interest to go anywhere else. So.
Nah, nowhere in the world. That's pretty crazy. So, transition. Obviously, we touched on a little bit. Like you were the party girl, a bit of a rat bag growing up.
Yeah.
You're a party boy now. How do you see life? Like, what's your morning routines? Obviously, you're a little bit sober, keen for a blowout pretty soon. Like, how do you see life right now?
I see it completely different. Hey, the biggest thing that I have that lockdown taught me. Lockdown taught me a lot of things. Hey, lockdown taught me that I don't need to be going out and I was just doing too much. Like I was doing way too much with way too many people. I'm happy by myself. Hey, just like. Don't really need to be fucking going doing all that kind of stuff. And I don't live for the weekend now. I never know when it's Friday. That's the biggest thing that I've noticed ever. I've never know. Like I wouldn't even know if it was Friday. Like I used to get a mad feeling, the Friday feeling that you get. Just because I was on the tools. Fucking Friday or Saturday is like
blow up.
It's the biggest. Like you need to have it, eh? But now I'm just like I could do whatever I want whenever I want.
You sort of put up a quote the other night where it said, once you're out, you sort of, you might want to, I'm paraphrasing here, but you realise that would I go to lunch with them the next day and your circle grew down pretty quick. What was the realisation of that? Just all that sort of shit you've been going through and how fake it was?
Yeah, just the shit that I was just spending way too much time with people that aren't really... benefiting me. Not that I'm looking for a benefit in everyone, but I've got my friends. Yep. Like I know who my friends are. I've had my same friend. I've had my same 5 friends for the last fucking 20 years since I was bloody 5 years old. I'm
the same as you. Like I'm obviously confident in camera like you, and we can speak very well, and like I come across as like extroverted and stuff like that. But I really love being on my own. I love hanging out on my own. But I only hang around like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, I love.
I know a lot of people, but I don't hang around.
Yeah, people, I love doing shit by myself now.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's for the best.
Love it.
So your girlfriend right now, like how'd you meet her?
I met her on the Gold Coast when we were like...
Wait, so you've been on and off with her for a while?
Yeah, we've been on and off for about 8 years, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time.
How'd you meet her?
Met her in a nightclub, on the Gold Coast.
What?
Standard. What's doing? She came to me and she's like, "How you going?"
Yeah.
I'm like, which way? We met on the Gold Coast, and I don't know, bro. When I first met her, I've never had any feeling like that for any girl ever. It was like we spent every day together. When I first met her, we spent every day together for like 3 months, and then by like 4 months, we moved to Melbourne together.
Crazy.
Yeah, and then we're together for like 6 years. And she had to put up with all the rowdy side of me. I think that was the biggest difference going back into this relationship was I had to make some big changes in myself to make it work.
When did you go back with her?
Just after Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just sort of got to the realisation, sobered up and like...
sobered up. And I
had a great girl before.
Yeah, exactly.
Start chasing her around.
Exactly right. I think when you get all these girls throwing themselves at you, it all changes, eh? It's like every bloke's dream to have like that many girls throwing themselves at you, and you're just like, fuck. Once you see that side of it, you're like, hey, I actually had a good one already.
Yeah. Law of the one and the many. When you got the many, you want the one. When you got the one, you want the many.
Yeah, hard.
So a couple of questions from our fans out there. I only picked a couple. What's your favourite tat?
Favourite tat? Probably this one.
What's it about? Do all your tattoos have meanings, or you just...
I have no meanings at all. None at all.
What was your first tat?
First tat was like... David Beckham one with the wings and that.
Oh,
it's up here, but I got it in Bali, and I went in there, but I thought it was going to be like half my back, eh?
Yeah.
I said, I want this, and I thought it was going to be like right up there, wings across my shoulders.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I thought he was just starting there, and he goes, finish. And it's like this big, it was like this big, eh? I was like, hey,
does it look alright?
No, that's fucking shit. I'll show you.
Nah, shirt's too big.
Shame, mate.
That's all right.
What about the big? Everyone's like, why do you have a goat on your back?
Yeah, why do you have a goat?
It's a fucking it's a gazelle.
Why you got a gazelle on your back?
I don't know. I just wanted to
fill it up.
Nah, I went into a tattoo shop one day, and the guy goes, because it's real hard to get into.
Jump on the mic, bro. Jump on the mic.
I was in the tattoo shop, and I was at home, and my tattooist messaged me and said, "We've got a cancellation."
Yeah.
And I just went in there didn't know what I was going to get, and he goes, "Oh, I really want to do a big back piece," and I was like, "Yeah, sweet." And he started on it, and I never got it finished. I'll get there one day.
I don't know the context of this, but what was the backlash like from Bachelor in Paradise? What sort of happened on there?
No, I sort of got guilt by association from backing up Kieran when he was. They were saying that he was being. I don't know.
Is he the guy you knock about with heaps?
Yeah,
yeah.
Because all he did was, he just was getting with chicks and then just
brushing them.
But what happens when you go in there is that all the producers and shit, they tell you, well, like Kieran would have went in there and they said to him, "You're 26 years old, mate. Like Paradise is about exploring. Like you can go chick to chick," and he would just get drunk and then go to one chick and then, but the producers would be like, "Oh, no, you don't need to stay with her. You don't need to stay with her," and he'd be like, "Yeah, sweet, it's all good," and it seems like all good at the time.
Yeah,
and
they start editing.
Then they edit it, and then it wasn't all editing, but. And I don't know, I blew up on there once.
What'd you say?
I blew up at Matt Wyatt because he was with Kieran's ex, and I was like, you're a dog, getting with your mates, misses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I look at it now in hindsight, it wasn't a big deal. Everyone, it's and it was just what the issue was is that they were saying that girls. Shouldn't be owned, and I was just getting all the feminists just fucking smashing me. Once you get on the wrong side of the feminist part, you're fucked. You are fucked. Yeah. They'll eat you alive.
100%.
But in saying that, it made me see things from a different people's point of view. Do you know what I mean? And I learned from it, and I was like, hang on, maybe how I saw it wasn't the one way to look at it. And that,
Did you come out and say that publicly?
Yeah,
or?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was just like, watching it back was sort of hard to watch, and I did look like a bit of a fuckhead.
Yeah. Hey, all lessons, baby. All lessons.
It's all good, but
So what's some do's and don'ts of becoming an influencer? What's the biggest thing you learned about it? Do you like the word influencer?
nah, not really.
It's got a negative connotation towards it, eh?
Yeah, that's why I sort of wanted to do something more. I didn't want to be an influencer. Always worked, always had a job. It's fucking nice. I tell you, it's nice getting something small for doing fuck all day.
Yeah.
But
Do you reckon all of them should be following your sort of path and sort of not starting a business or getting equity in the business? Because when I look at influencers, when I look at football players, like we do it as well. We're like, hey, we'll pay you to wear this. Like, can you put up a post for us? We're just leveraging off their brand, and after a while, like you've gone through, like the attention sometimes goes away.
yeah, it does go. It does go.
It does go away, especially down there.
100% it goes away because the next season will start and just another fucking flash in the pan. People know who you are, but they're not really interested in what you're doing. But now I didn't really care if my personal page got deleted now, eh?
Yep.
Like I've had my year. It was fucking fun. Appreciated it. Loved everything. That was just crazy. But like I'm moved on to bigger, better things now. Hey.
Yeah. Last question. Any regrets from reality TV?
Nah, not at all. It's all good, eh?
Or had a good time, learned your lessons?
Yeah, you learn lessons. That's all it is. Never regret, eh? Nah.
All right, my guy, I just want to thank you for jumping on. Appreciate
brother.
you.
Cheers, mate.
You're the man. Anyone want to reach out to me and start supporting his brand, Front Runner? They're making really cool fucking shit at the moment. So if you ever need any help, hit me up, bro.
Cheers, bro. Thanks, mate.
Later.
Mate.